Welcome, low ego action heroes. Oops, I'm quiet again. Sorry. Let's try this again. Take two. Welcome, low ego action heroes. I'm Debbie Levitt from dcx, and welcome to our pretty much every Tuesday Q&A AMA. This is when I do live mentoring and coaching. I'm here to help you. It costs you nothing, so please send in your questions. You can put the questions in the LinkedIn or YouTube chat, but they will come up on the screen with your name. If you need to send a long question or an anonymous question, you'll find the link at dcx.to, along with other groovy links to other things going on in the Delta CX multiverse, like my coaching, my new courses, my mailing list, my online communities, and most of it is free. So check it out and become a part of the action. Hello, Ana Lucia. Always good to see you here, of course. I did get one question just before last week's show, which I canceled because I was recording an audiobook. Some of you know I am working on a secret book. Boy, are the flames going to be relevant for this one. Fire aplenty. I just today got a test copy of the book, and I will just show you the back. In fact, it is so blue that we changed my blue screen back to a green screen. Otherwise, this book would be see-through, which means when I hold up this book, it'll no longer be see-through. Hooray! And when I hold up this book, it'll no longer be see-through. Hooray! So back to green screen. So yeah, I'm not showing you the front of the book. This is the back. There will be flames. There's blueness, but I'm not showing you the front or the name. And thanks as always to the fantastic Malika for making an amazing cover. So we have a little bit more to do with the cover, and then I promise the book will be out there. But if you're watching live, put in the chat what you hope the book is about. What do you need help with the most right now? The book's already written, and the audiobook recorded, so I can't change it. It's done, but I'm curious what you wish it would be. Thanks as always to my past and present Patreon members. I haven't updated this list in a while, so some of you have changed levels, but thank you for your support, whether it is now or previous. Always grateful to people, and I love people to even join my free Patreon because then you get updated. It's kind of like a mailing list, and you get updated when stuff is happening, and I send special stuff to the Patreon that I don't send anywhere else. So you want to join at least the free level, patreon.com/cxcc. Ooh, all that audiobook talking, still getting to me. All right, so we got that one question that came in last week, so let's take a look at it while we wait to see if anybody else sends in any fresh questions. Let's see. And I'm just checking my email because that's where the questions come in, and I don't see any yet. Okay, so this question came in last week, and it's a really interesting one. And the person had an interview coming up. I don't know if you've had the interview. If so, let us know how it goes. Sorry I didn't get to answer this question last week. I prioritized recording the audiobook. So the question was, I have a UX research interview in a car selling app company in-house. I don't have a car. I don't drive, and I don't plan on driving in the future. 1. Do you think I would be suitable in this position? 2. And should I tell them that information in the interview? Great question, and definitely worth talking about. So we always say things like, you are not the user. Let's take a look at some projects I've had in my career. 2013, I worked at an agency where we were working on a website that would allow, according to the company, gay men to book sexual disease testing. I'm not a gay man, but I did a good job. What else did I work on? 15? I worked on a design project that was a company, a home warranty company, trying to organize the jobs it was sending out to its contractors. I don't have a home warranty. I'm not a home warranty contractor. Do you see where I'm going with this? First of all, I don't believe you need to be in the target audience. And this is a conversation I've had in a couple of interviews as well. And I know that for one job, they said, well, we don't want you because you're not more passionate about our mission. And my thought was, I'm passionate about my work. I'll do a great job for you. I don't have to love, you know, the logistics of business machinery, or, I'm not going to tell you what it was. So, number one, do I think you can research a car selling app company if you're not a driver or a car owner? Yeah. In fact, you might even be better at it because you won't accidentally put in your own biases and your own needs and your own desires and preferences. So I would think of you as a less likely to be biased UX practitioner, whether that's research, design, or both. So number one, yes, of course you're suitable. If you're a good researcher and you got the interview, there's a weird shadow hovering over my glasses. Really? When I move. Is it the circle is my ring light. Are you seeing the ring light in my glasses? I don't know why it's green screening it out. That's weird. It's a giant light. It should be white, not green. Yes, it's that. Okay, I don't know why that is. I guess if it's really annoying, I can just go without glasses and do my best. Um, okay, so as I used to do. So number one, are you suitable? Absolutely. You don't have to be a driver to research something related to cars. You don't have to be a gay man to research something related to gay men. Is it better if you are? It really depends. Some people say, well, I want you to be in the target audience. I want you to have lived this and experienced this. And in some cases, that can be better. In other cases, people say, I want you to be far from this. I want you to be unrelated to this topic or this audience so that you can be more objective and that you can really listen to these people and not accidentally include yourself in some way. So that's up to the hiring manager in the company as to whether they tend to prefer someone who is living this because they think that's going to make you more passionate or interested, and it might not, or whether you're not living it or they just don't care either way. So I think you're suitable for the job. Number two, should you tell them in the interview? I don't know if you had the interview and if you did end up telling them, but I'd probably only bring it up if they ask you. So, for example, I had an interview a few weeks ago where they asked me if I was passionate about luxury beauty. And I said, well, I do buy some semi-expensive face cleansing and beauty products because I have acne-prone skin. Um, yes, I have some luxury beauty products, but I'm not exactly following the Kardashians. And then they asked if I was passionate about gaming, and I said, not really. It doesn't make sense for me to lie about that because someone's going to figure that out. If someone says, "What games are you into?" and I start making them up, or I name a game and then it's clear that I don't know about it or play it, that these are lies that fall apart fast. So if someone said to you, "Hey, have you ever bought a car?" You can just say, "Nope, I've actually never bought a car." Have you ever shopped for a car? No, I've actually never shopped for a car. So that shouldn't matter. If someone understands UX research, it doesn't matter. If they come from the perspective of, we only want you if you live and breathe what our company is trying to do, which is pretty much what the beauty and gaming company said to me, then they're going to think you don't fit. But if you were interviewing for me, and I'm at the car selling app company and you don't drive and you don't have a car, I don't care. Unless I need to send you somewhere that you need to drive to, then we have a problem. But other than that, I don't care. Giant, I don't care. So if you're watching this later, I hope you'll let us know how the interview went. I hope you made it through to the next round because uh, that shouldn't be something keeping you from the next round. Sorry, I'm a little dark today. I should put on more lights. Ana Lucia, luxury, beauty, and gaming, same target audience. That's new. Yeah, it is a weird little story that I don't go into because it was an interview that I had, and I don't know what they were going to do in combining those, so I couldn't even tell you if I wanted to. They never told me. Cassandra, I think the pro of living it is that you could ask more contextual questions and follow-up questions. You just may need to put in more work to understand the market. Excellent point. Thank you for the critical thinking, Cassandra. Critical thinking hat. So yes, Cassandra's absolutely right. If you haven't lived it, then you do have to do a little bit of research to get more domain knowledge. Hold on, I'm going to turn on my new fan. Thanks to my husband for building me a fan today. Um, Still hot in here. So, Cassandra's absolutely right. You will have to put in a little more time to get domain knowledge. And another thing that I tend to advise people on is, let's say you are the target audience. Let's say you've bought and sold cars 9,000 times, and this is a car selling app. I'll put the question back up on the screen. Um, so then the question I often get is, uh-oh, I am the target audience, or I've done this a whole bunch of times. How do I keep myself from being biased? And this kind of ties into what Cassandra said, which is you use the knowledge and background that you have to just be domain knowledge. And you still have to work to keep your bias, your preferences out of it. You might prefer a car selling app that does this or has this. Look out, you may or may not be the target audience, and you have to go by what you learn in research versus what you like or want. Because when we start going by what we like or want, we tend to accidentally devalue UX because we accidentally teach our teammates, hey, it's kind of about what I like or want. And we don't want it to be about what they like or want, so it can't be about what we like or want. So Cassandra's right. You are going to need domain knowledge. You are going to need to learn more about car shopping, car selling, car terminology, all of that stuff. But that's doable. I mean, when I had to do the sexual disease testing for gay men adventure, there was things for me to learn about sexual disease testing and local gay men adventures that I didn't know. Cassandra says, great point about bias. My last company took me months to understand the market of ESG CSR, and it hindered my research. Yeah, exactly. So there's definite pros and cons to, it's not so much that you don't drive and you don't have a car. If this is a car selling app, the question would be, have you ever sold a car? And then the secondary question might be, have you ever sold a car online or through an app? So I have sold one car in my life, and I sold it. Do you remember how I sold my car? Was it on Craigslist? Where did I put my car? We don't even remember how I sold it, but could it have been Tucson Craigslist? Maybe it was Tucson Craigslist. So in that sense, even I didn't use an app to sell a car, but that doesn't mean I wouldn't be in the target audience. I could be someone who could use an app to sell a car. So yeah, ultimately the key is to have domain knowledge. The last job I worked at was Arizona State University. I didn't go to Arizona State University. I didn't know anything about Arizona State University. I have gone to another university. I remember going to university, but I don't have any domain knowledge about Arizona State or its target students. I had to learn all of that. So on the one hand, I had some freshness and some fresh eyes, and on the other hand, I had stuff to learn about the way the school was structured and the types of students that they want. And so I think with every job, there is usually a learning curve where we need to know more about the domain and the target audiences. And so if you came into the job and you didn't know much about the domain or the target audiences, and I'd say, okay, we got to help you know that. Even if someone came from a competing car app platform, there might be a different target audience here or a different value proposition or different business goals. There's always something to learn. Cassandra says, if the user is presented with those questions in an interview, I'd respond with curiosity. Display that you know the questions if you want to ask their customers to get answers. Yeah, and another thing that I sometimes do, even when I know the domain, is sometimes I act like I don't know the domain. And I find that the people I interview, and I don't do this always, but sometimes when I've done it, I find that people end up being more helpful. They're more thorough with their answers. They act like they suddenly feel some need to teach me something. And so, like I'll say to someone like, "Gee, I'm kind of new to Arizona State University. Can you help me understand the difference between session A, session B, and session C?" And they'll go, "Oh gosh, I don't think I know either." And I'll go, "Oh, okay. Well, that's two of us." And move on. Or they'll go, "Yeah, let me explain this to you. Session A is this, session B is this, and session C is this." I go, "Oh, okay, great. Thank you so much." And so, and I knew what it was. So sometimes that can help too. There's so many different tactics, and I can't say always do this or never do this, but there's a lot of moving pieces here. But I think, obviously my 10 minutes later answer to the question would be that I don't think that not having ever sold a car should stop you from being hired by a car selling app company, but you'd have to take some time to learn a little bit more about what selling a car is like. But if you're the researcher there's some stuff you can learn ahead of time, and there's some stuff you're going to learn through your research. And that's part of what our job is. Every time I get a new job, I have to learn about the domain. What was it? 2 years ago, I worked at a job board. I'm no expert in job boards. I had to learn about job boards. I had to learn about a job board that primarily had Germans as the target audience. I wouldn't know about that. So I had to learn about that. And so a good company will expect that you have time not just to onboard to the job, but to learn more of the domain. Ana Lucia says, I try to make the person feel extremely knowledgeable and helpful about the matter at hand. Of course, it depends on who you have in front of you, but it can work quite well. Yeah, so sometimes it can. So let's see. Nobody has asked another question. I'm just checking. So again, if you have a question, you can put it in the chat. You can see the chats come up on the screen with your name. So, you may or may not want to poop on your job in the live chat. But of course, you can always go to dcx.to, and we've got a link there where you can send questions confidentially. And it just comes to my email, and even I don't know who you are. So I'll just wait to see if we get any more questions. I am multitasking badly. I'm trying to type something on my phone and I'm getting like every word wrong. This is going to look great. All right, so as always, it's Tuesday, and I'm here to answer your questions. I do this almost every Tuesday. Next Tuesday, we'll be here with Dr. Nick, who has promised he will be here. And the Tuesday after that, I will be taking off that whole week, in fact, since it is our belated honeymoon, and we will be going on a 1-week vacation. Ask your questions now and next week, and then you'll miss a week. But if we don't have any more questions, this was a great one, and we can certainly wrap up for today. So let's just see if we get any others before I play the outgoing fire. But yeah, as always, peeps, please make sure you've joined our Slack or our Discord or the mailing list or the Patreon, because with my new book coming out soon, you will want to know. And I'm sure that the YouTube algorithm will kill me and the LinkedIn algorithm will kill me. So I really hope that people are following in other ways and in other places and involved in the community more. And now that I changed my blue screen back to a green screen, I can show you all the blue things on my desk that previously were invisible. Blue highlighter. Who remembers when I held a blue highlighter and it was invisible? Blue highlighter. Yeah, so finally, blue things. Blue napkin. So it's a green screen again, which is why you see a little bit of green reflecting on my skin. I am not green. Ana Lucia says, I've been wondering how to tackle questions regarding my employment gaps and why my volunteering experience is taking so long. I know a UX project shouldn't take long, but, well, health issues. Good question. Let's put this one up on the screen and let's talk about this a little bit. Because you're the second person this week to ask me something similar. The first part. The second part is more unique to you, your situation with your health issues. So let's talk about this. You're the second person this week to ask me about employment gaps. So first of all, we're at the point now where hundreds of thousands of people, if not millions of people, have employment gaps on their resume. I have them. Many people have them. Some people don't have them. I've always had them. The gap is just different sizes. Sometimes the gap was a week, and sometimes the gap was 10 months. And so gaps exist. Anybody who holds that against you certainly is not very understanding of what the job market looks like and is not very understanding of a variety of things. In my opinion, lacks empathy, right? Because we need to understand that the job market has been cruel to just about everybody, and that there are many people who have been out of work for many months or in some cases years. So if someone says, why do you have an employment gap on your resume or CV, gestures broadly at everything. Hello, everybody's being laid off, budgets are being cut. Even my job ended in June. My manager wanted to keep me. My cross-functional team said they loved my work and weren't sure what they were going to do without it. And the people high up refused to budget for us. The end. That's the clapboard there. The end. So anybody who asks you what's up with your employment gap, I think is out of touch because so many people have employment gaps. It was insensitive to ask people why they were unemployed during the pandemic when so many people were laid off and or sick. And once again, to me, it's not friendly to ask people about an employment gap now because, again, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people are out of work. In fact, I was talking to a little old lady in the village the other day who I thought was not hip to very much. And I told her that I did not have a job right now. And she started crying and she said, so many people can't find work. Okay. And she probably knows nothing about tech jobs. She's probably thinking about other jobs, but it's not just me and it's not just you. So it's not just happening to the two of us and that's it. We're on a desert island. It's happening to so many people. Now, as for why is Ana Lucia's volunteer project taking so long, I did wonder that a little bit myself. I did think your volunteer project was taking too long. Now, of course, you end up having a good reason for it. Some of it is how, thank you, Sharon. It is challenging. It's challenging for all of us. Obviously, all of us face these challenges differently. We have different experiences of these challenges. Mine might not look like yours, but we are all facing the challenge of being out of work, and struggling to get interviews or jobs, and some other people's insensitivity around it, or some of the toxic positivity around it, which I wrote about on LinkedIn recently, where I'm really tired, and I'm sure you might be too, of the posts that are like, oh, stay positive, chin up, your next job is just around the corner. How can we say that to... You can't, if you have empathy, you can't say that to the people who have been struggling for a long time trying to find work. You can't and you shouldn't. So as for Ana Lucia's other question, her volunteer project is taking very long and she's had health issues. To me, you can only explain that. You can only say originally this should have been an 8-week project because the project plan looked like this. I was going to do this and then this and then this and then this, and that was going to take 8 weeks or 3 months, 4 months, whatever it was. Unfortunately, this has extended into 8, 9 months or whatever it is, due to a variety of health issues that I faced, which included multiple doctors being unable to diagnose me. So unfortunately, this was a project that stretched longer than it should have for reasons I could not foresee or control. But the good news is that I'm starting to feel better. I think that's probably how I would go with it. You don't have to tell them what's wrong with you or any of the stories. You can just try to explain in a broad story that you, and I'm saying this only because I know a little bit about what happened with Ana Lucia, which is you had a complicated health issue that has been difficult to diagnose. You saw lots of doctors who gave you lots of wrong treatments. You've been through hell, and the volunteer project probably became plan B. It was not the first thing on your mind given what you were facing. So I think, Ana Lucy, if you're comfortable, you can indicate what part of your body was included, because it definitely is the kind of which you can say in chat if you're comfortable, because that would certainly explain why you're not doing a lot of work. It is a required body part for doing work. It's not like your ankle hurt you and so you weren't at your computer typing. Though again, if your ankle hurts enough, you might not be at your computer typing. But I'm not saying, I think people know what I'm trying to say there, even though it didn't come out right. So yeah, that's probably what I would say. I also think that we should feel no pressure to try to make and this one's especially for Sharon, we should be under no pressure to make it look like our resume, our work gap was some sort of amazing time of rebirth and rediscovery and renaissance. And oh yeah, there's the gong. If we don't have more questions, we'll wrap up. You don't have to make it look like I don't love the LinkedIn posts that are like, oh, I've been out of work for 3 months, so I went through Spain and Portugal, and here's a picture of me at the sea, and it's like, okay, I'm happy for you. I'm glad you were able to do that. I'm glad you have the time and the money and the health to do that. It's not bad that you did that, but it's also going to be tough for people to see that when my LinkedIn is also filled with people saying, I don't have money for food, or I can't pay my rent. Now, does that mean you shouldn't go have fun, or you shouldn't post a picture of the sea? No, you can. But you just have to remember there's a lot of different experiences out there right now, and even I am not sure what's the right thing to do. Ana Lucia says, it was eye issues. Yeah, I didn't want to say unless you were comfortable saying. Ana Lucia had problems with her eyes. If you have problems with your eyes, you were probably not spending a lot of time looking at a computer and working on a project. She saw 7 doctors and only got a corrected diagnosis 3 weeks ago. After how long? Because wait, weren't you having eye problems when I met you last year? Has this really been going on a year? Anyway, back to Cassandra. I've heard that as a UX and UXR practitioner, empathizing with my coworkers and helping them get their job done will better position you for influence in the org. What if helping them enables dysfunction at the company and is not the best direct? Okay, that's a separate. Oh, sorry, I thought you were chiming in on this question. Okay, great question. Let me copy paste this and we'll get it up on the screen next, because I think we've covered what Ana Lucia wrote. Though Ana Lucia and others can ask a follow-up question if they'd like. I'm very happy to see Cassandra's question, because you might be surprised at my answer, especially if you haven't seen my show before. Have you seen me before? Am I new to you? Let's get this up on the screen. Here we go. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what Cassandra is saying. Let me read it out loud again, and then let's address it. And again, this is audience participation, so if you would like to chime in on anything anyone's asking, go ahead. I may or may not agree with you, but you're always welcome to put your thoughts up on the screen. Cassandra says, I've heard that as a UX or UX research practitioner, empathizing with my coworkers and helping them get their job done will better position you for influence in the org. What if helping them enables dysfunction at the company or is not the best direction? So Cassandra, semi-new. Yeah, thank you for joining. Cassandra, let me ask you really quickly before I answer this in the wrong direction. When you say helping a coworker get their job done, can you give an example? Is this a fellow UX practitioner? Is this a product manager, engineer, marketer? Like, are you being asked to like stop your UX research work and do some product management? Or are you talking about diluting research where you're supposed to help a product manager do better research? I think if I could get a little more context here, I'd be able to give you a better answer. And Ana Lucia says, yes, it's been going on for over 2 years now. A ton of treatments that ended up not working. Only made me feel better for a few weeks until I relapsed. Hopefully it'll work now. Yeah, I really hope they've sorted out your eyes. Eyes are one of hundreds of important body parts, and I hope your eyes are improving. Okay, you're a product designer. Okay. And then tell me a little bit more. I know we're about 40 seconds delayed, so sorry that there's a lag here, but tell me a little bit more about how they're expecting you to help others get their job done. Anyway, while you answer that, let me just say that helping other people get their job done doesn't necessarily position you better in an org unless your manager is watching for that. If your manager says, one of the ways that I'm going to judge you when it comes time for evaluations is, are you helping others get their job done? Are you pausing your work and putting yourself aside to help that marketer, to help that engineer? I'm going to be checking for that. If someone is checking for that and you're doing it, then hypothetically, it should help you out in the org. But if you're if no one is checking if you've done that and nobody cares if you've done that, then it might not help you in the org. Okay, Cassandra says clarifying. More to do with cross departments. Yes, marketing and product management, business side and sales, and of course the founder. I've worked with a lot of startups. Okay, so startups do expect you to wear a lot of hats. I'm not on LinkedIn looking up your name, so I don't know much about you or anything. Hi, Cassandra. So if you're in a startup and the startup expects you to wear a lot of hats and help out sales and whatever, then that's the expectation. And that would mean that you would need to plan your work accordingly. That means you don't have 40 hours a week to give to product design. In fact, I like to say start with the idea that you have 30 hours or less because you take a lunch break. You have shitty meetings to go to. So maybe you don't have 40 hours in a 40-hour week. Maybe you have 30. You have 30 hours in a 40-hour week. Now, from 30, how many of those hours are spent wearing other hats, trying to help other people out? Oh, marketing needs some graphics made. I'd better help them out. Oh, someone wants a new logo for a thingy. I'm the artist here. I got to work on that. How many hours a week are you spending on these other things? If you start tracking it or you happen to know, you might find that it's a few hours a week. You might find it's most of your damn day. So the best thing is to get a handle on how much of this is. That way, when someone says, hey, I actually need this UX work done, you can say, okay, well, of my 30 hours that I truly have available during the week, I've noticed, or of my 40 hours, 5 of them go to lunch. The end. I've got 35. And then I'm in 3 hours of meetings a day. Okay, that's 15 hours. Now I'm down to 20. I've got 20 hours a week to do actual work. Guess what? I've got 5 hours of weekly work from marketing. Now I'm down to 15. So you want this product design done. How high priority is this? Do you want me to tell marketing that they need to wait? Do you want me to not go to some of these meetings? I'll play this however you think I need to play this. You tell me. And that's sometimes what I do. Or sometimes I say, hey, marketing wants me 10 hours a week. You're asking, you expect me to do something for 30 hours a week. I don't have 40 hours in a week because I'm taking lunch. Sometimes I stand up and walk around and go to the bathroom. And I'm in all kinds of meetings. I don't have 40 hours in a 40-hour week, and I'm not working more than 40 hours unless you want to pay for those hours. So who gets my time? You tell me. I'll do what you say, but you tell me who gets my time. You want me to tell marketing to wait so I can do your thing? You see where I'm going with that, Cassandra? So that is a key thing. But the other thing I want to make sure that Cassandra hears before Cassandra slips away, because I don't know if you have to leave before the show's over. I usually go a full hour. This is not about empathy. If someone says that you need to empathize with your coworkers and help them do their jobs, you are being gaslit. Gaslit, 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 manipulated, manipulated, manipulated. The end. Because it doesn't go into the bathroom, slacker. Hey, Brandon, how are you? gaslit, 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 and manipulated because it's not about empathy. Because where's the empathy for everybody else to let you do your freaking work? Where's the empathy from everybody else to hire more people to get this work done? Where's the empathy from everybody else to leave you alone and give you more autonomy? It's not about empathy. Don't let them take your good nature. Don't let them take advantage of your good nature by saying, you need to empathize with your coworkers more and help them do their jobs. Why can't they get their jobs done? I have a lot of questions. This is a good reminder that I do private coaching. And so if you think that any of you out there, not just Cassandra, cough, cough, if any of you think that some private coaching would help, I do make that available. Everyone gets the first session free. And after that, I charge 50 American dollars for a half hour. You can check out the link at dcx.to. You will find all the links to all the things there, including some secret things. Vocalizing priorities, because a lot of times we want to say yes. If you are coming to this show and you are following me, usually you are a high empathy, critical thinker who wants to say yes to people. That just seems to be who I attract because that's who I am. And people go, oh, hey, wait, I'm like that too. And so I get it, but I have definitely learned to establish better boundaries. And I don't want to do more than 40 hours a week of work unless they're going to pay me for those hours. And in that case, sure, pay me. I want the money. I'll do it. But be careful about the idea of, oh, you have to help these people because you have empathy for them, right? I've mainly heard this advice from other practitioners. We gaslight each other. And I've been trying to tell people to stop it. Well, when did I say that? The dcx book that came out in 2019 says stop it. And other articles I've written. Actually, I had an article a few months ago that was like, dear UX people, stop gaslighting each other. All right, we'll have a race. Who can find that article first? I'm going to look for it and try to paste it. Hold on. Medium.com. Debbie Levitt, gaslight. I think I got it. Hold on. No. This was a little bit about that. This was about gaslighting in general and people believing the gaslighting or things like that. So it won't be exactly this, but you can find it by Googling Levitt, that's me, Medium, because I posted this on Medium, UX Stop Believing the Gaslighters. That should come right up, even though this is an ugly URL you might not be able to follow. Note that YouTube usually doesn't allow URLs, but it's my channel, so I think this will show up. But anyway, you can Google for that. And Ana Lucia says, I've heard it's common for U.S. companies to not allow time for lunch, which makes many workers take their lunch while they work. Is that true? Yes, it is. We didn't take lunch very often when I lived and worked in the San Francisco area. Very often, if we did take lunch, we went out and picked up lunch and brought it back to eat at our desks while we worked. So yes, I would have to say that while it's not true for everybody, very often, at least in the workplaces I've been in, lunch was very often at your desk. Sometimes coworkers would do lunch together, but you really didn't get a break from these people. So you probably needed one. Now that I have a green screen on and I put on my green glasses, will I be transparent? What about my green eyes? So Cassandra, I have a lot of questions, and I don't know if some coaching would help, but if you're in a startup, I know you're expected to wear a lot of hats, but you still need to find boundaries for that, and you still need to plan your time accordingly, because if someone is expecting 40 hours a week of product design from you, that's probably already a problem. You probably don't have 40 hours in a week between meetings and going to the bathroom, even if you're taking lunch at your desk, etc. So that's where you have to start talking to people about timing and resourcing and priorities and And I just let people fight over me. I go, well, I'm not going to pick. I say, you want this done. Marketing wants this done. You two talk to each other and get back to me with whose project gets worked on first. Cassandra says, I'd say this advice came in the form of strategizing how to get more influence and buy-in at the company, make others look good as a gained allies, a persuasion tactic, appreciate your response. Honestly, this sounds like a great path to being a doormat and being taken advantage of. Because if you start saying yes to helping everybody with their work, when are you going to get your work done? And will that make you look bad? Are you going to have more influence and buy-in if you are just the person who comes assist other people? Is that the person we give more influence and buy-in? The assistant who comes in and helps the product manager do something or helps the salesperson do something? Is that the person who has more influence and buy-in? Really depends. On the surface, it sounds like no. But if you're being brought in to help those people because you're so freaking amazing that you change the game, you show up to sales and you show them why they've got everything wrong and you make something better happen, then okay, you've got influence. But for the most part, when someone says, oh, I've got too much work, Cassandra's just like a UXer. Cassandra probably has endless free time. I'm just going to ask Cassandra to help me. Is that respectful for you? Do you have influence? Are you getting buy-in? It sounds like this is the gaslighting stuff we tell each other, and it's stuff that what happens is other people who want us to help them with their jobs say this to us, and then we internalize it and we give this bad advice to others. Clearly, whoever said this to you has had marketing or sales or product managers or engineers or other people say, oh, I really need help with my work, and you seem so nice, and you've got empathy for my situation, so can you come help me out on this thing? I know you don't work in marketing, but we really need these ad graphics made, and you're a graphics person. We really need your help on this. And then what happens is when people don't spot the gaslighting and they don't spot the manipulation, they internalize it and they think this is reality. They think I'm showing empathy to these people by helping them with their job. And my question is, why do they need help with their job? Root causes. Why? Why do they need help with their job? And if they need help with their job, why aren't they going to someone and saying, look, I'm an overworked marketing person. Get me an intern. Get me an assistant. Get me a somebody. Why can't marketing go and get the person they need to help them do their job? Why do you have to stop what you do to help some other role do their job? And why is that fake empathy? That's got nothing to do with empathy. That's people trying to manipulate you and treat you like a doormat. I hope you're seeing this. I hope this is like a reality slap in the face. This is bad advice. I like making others look good. I do. But I'm not going to be a doormat. I'm not going to be gaslit. I'm not going to be manipulated to get there. I don't have to be. I can do good work and help others look good, not by doing their work, but by making sure my work sets them up for success. If my work is good and sets your work up for success, marketing person, salesperson, product management person, engineering person, then I've helped you look good. I don't have to do your work with or for you to make you look good. This is all kinds of weird manipulation and gaslighting. Please tell me that you see this. Please. Ana Lucia says, if I was able to finish all of my work for the week early, I wouldn't mind helping others, but I wouldn't make it a habit. You have your work to do. You weren't hired as an assistant. Absolutely. If you have spare time and you are sitting around at your desk going, nothing for me to do today, well, first of all, I'd ask you why. You really have nothing to do? Is there really nothing for you to work on? Nothing for you to strategize, prioritize, decide on? No tickets in the backlog for you to take a look at to see if there's UX improvements? No research that you can spin up to learn more about our current or target customers? How do you have spare time? I don't want you to be overworked, but I don't know why people have spare time. And by the way, when Cassandra's too busy, who comes to Cassandra's rescue? Probably nobody. Because maybe they suck at the work. I don't want the product manager doing wireframes if they suck at design. I don't want marketing doing research if they're bad at it. I don't know, Cassandra. I think that this has just been a lot of, from the way you describe it, yes, it's common advice, but I personally think it's manipulative, it's gaslighting, it lacks boundaries. And you're not guaranteed. You're not guaranteed the payoff that this advice promises. You're not guaranteed influence. You're not guaranteed buy-in. You're not guaranteed respect. You're not guaranteed budget. You're not guaranteed autonomy. You're not guaranteed anything other than you will have helped other people with their work. When in reality, you should say, sorry, I got my own pile of work to do. I'm overworked. I'm falling behind. If you need help doing your work, why don't you ask CEO, co-founder, so-and-so to get you an intern? These aren't unreasonable things. Oof. All right, let's see if any anonymous questions have come in. No. Any other questions, follow-up questions, disagreements? Maybe somebody disagrees with what I've been saying. Optional. We lost Cassandra. Ana Lucia says, by the way, can you share more about that slide you posted on LinkedIn today? It was really nice. Yeah, sure. It's an oldie. I haven't had to trot that one out in a while. In fact, it's so old that I think I took it off my list of things that I can put up on the screen. I used to have it as a thing that I could put up on the screen, and I think I took it off. Brandon says, finding gaps where UX research can help projects is how you get influence. I think it depends. Like are you helping projects with research, or are you helping projects by being an assistant pair of hands to whatever they do? I would love to see you getting more influence and buy-in because you did great UX work and your research work helped projects and you set people up for success. Ana Lucia says, tell me about the slide you posted on LinkedIn. Let me see if I still, do I still have it in my, let's see, I don't think I have it in my, I think I took it out. I used to have it as a graphic I could superimpose, and I think I took it out. So the graphic I put up on LinkedIn today, I do not credit myself with it. Dave Maloof is credited with it. And basically, it was something called Try Track Agile. So the idea is that Agile was something that was created about 25 years ago to try to get engineers, so we're talking developers and QA and other people in engineering, to work faster. What would happen was a lot of companies were doing projects that took really, really long times, months, sometimes years, because engineer took so much time to code it and test it, and then it would finally be released. And because this was 25 years ago, if it needed a fix or something, it wouldn't come out for months. And so people were much more careful with what they built. They cared more about the UX because a mistake wasn't going to get fixed for months. They cared more about the code and the bugs because it wasn't going to get fixed for months. Cassandra says, I don't have this problem at the moment. In my last gig I did, what you said, boundaries, I was siloed to my research was great. In the end, it wasn't utilized. Yeah, that's a whole other story. Sorry to hear about that. And I don't want UXers to be siloed. I'm just saying there's a happy medium between being siloed and being everybody's unpaid intern or assistant or giving up your boundaries. I don't see them giving up their boundaries for us. So I posted Try Track Agile, and what happened was when Agile became more popular, some people who were fans of Agile decided, and I still am not sure why, other than it was a bit of a power grab, that UX needed to be Agile. And it was like, what does that even mean? You know, because we don't think in sprints. We didn't work in sprints. We didn't think in sprints. We didn't need ceremonies and stand-ups and showcases and retros. Like UX just did human-centered design, and we did it as fast as we could and as well as we could. And Agile wasn't invented to solve our problems. It was invented to solve engineering's speed and timing problems. And so someone decided, well, UX needs to be agile too. And then they wanted us to start fitting into all of these agile things, like, fit into agile sprints and all this other stuff. And a lot of us were like, this doesn't make any sense. Now, some of you who are newer to UX, you didn't know a world where you weren't involved in agile sprints and you weren't expect to estimate your time in sprints or things like that. But I'm old enough to remember when we didn't do this, and all of a sudden we just had projects. How long do you need? I need 2 days. Okay, you can have 2 days. How long do you need? I need 3 weeks. All right, you can have 3 weeks. We just had project planning, but we didn't think in sprints or any of these other things related to Agile. And then, so when Agile started trying to engulf UX and grab UX and make UX some sort of sub-umbrella to the engineering Agile world, people started coming up with models to try to fight against that. And one of the models that came out was dual track Agile and eventually tri-track Agile. And the idea was that dual track Agile basically said there are 2 tracks happening at the same time. One track is UX. The other track is engineering. So basically, UX is going along doing their work, whether it's timed in sprints or timed in some other way, but UX is going along doing their work. Engineering is going along doing their work. We're doing totally separate things. We're not working on the same thing at the same time. Why? Because it's an assembly line. It's not like while I design, I have an engineer sitting next to me coding. That doesn't make sense. I have to design something. I have to rework it a little bit. I have to collaborate with some people. I have to usability test it. So, I'm working on something that will eventually be given to an engineer to program. We have an assembly line. So the idea of dual track agile really highlighted that UX is up here doing a bunch of different tasks, different specialties, different things, and then eventually we are passing work to engineers who are doing their own thing. So engineers can be agile, UX can use their own techniques and models and things, and we're just going to plan together and make this ship run. Tri-track Agile just expanded on that to basically say, look, actually, engineering is the 3rd track, and UX is 2 tracks. At the top track, we have research and strategy. So early research, not the testing of a prototype, but early research. What do we understand about people, contexts, and systems? I still have that, though I can't see it without my glasses. Let's see. Which one says people, contexts? Is it this one? No. Is it this one? Yes. We've got people, contexts, and systems that we want to understand. So we're going to do early research. That's part of track 1. This is what people might call discovery research. So we're not trying to discover which idea we like. We're trying to discover more about people and understand their problems. Then we're going to frame the problems and understand the problems, understand what could be improved, and start strategizing. That could be your product strategy, your UX strategy, CX strategy. That's track 1. Then track 2, we've got solving the problems. We've got the design and the testing and the iterations and stuff like that. Because the idea is that track 1 feeds track 2. That sure, a UX designer can start designing, but it's better when they're fed by good research. Where's my other graphic? No, wrong one. Also wrong one. Okay, I can't tell these apart at a distance. Here we go. Ev- Evidence, data, and knowledge. It's always better. Ask any designer. It's always better when a designer is not asked to just guess at a design or just go for it or just make something they like. It's always better when they can work from research somebody did, whether the designer has to do research or somebody else is doing it. It's always better when a designer is fed by the evidence, data, and knowledge that comes from good research done earlier in a project. And that's where you get the idea of UX being two tracks, where you have research and understanding problems and contexts and strategy being one track that just keeps going, keeps going, keeps going. There's always something to research and strategize and prioritize and understand. And then you have the second track who's being fed by that. And there's always something to solve and design and test and improve upon. And then when we have good stuff, we send it down to track 3, which is engineering. So again, that is credited to Dave Maloof. I didn't invent that, but it's something I've been talking about for 6 or so years. It made sense at the time because right now a lot of people working in UX tend to have conflict with their product manager. The product manager tries to take over UX work, tries to make you the assistant, tries to do your work for or with you. Doesn't give you the time or anything you need. Our fights right now are mostly with product managers. But before product managers went on this power grab, they had no power. They were hiding in a corner with us, and engineering had all the power because everyone was like, ooh, agile. We're going to be agile, 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 agile. And engineering had this giant wave of power, and they started trying to take over everybody else. They wanted everybody to be agile, whatever that meant. And if I wanted more than 3 seconds to do my work, I was told I'm not agile. And so it was just a lot of conflict. So the tri-track agile graphic and the earlier dual track agile was originally invented to try to handle this power struggle between engineers and UX, where engineers were trying to not really take over our work, but like manage us and project manage us and tell us we had to fit into agile methods and ceremonies and timing, and that if we didn't have all of our work done in a sprint, there was something wrong with us. And I was like, this makes no sense because some of our work is much shorter than a sprint and some of our work is longer than a sprint, and who cares? So, and then there were people who knew nothing about UX and would just say, well, if you need more than a sprint, this is not agile and you're not lean. And it was just a whole way, again, as usual, to gaslight people and pick on them and put them down and try to have power over them. So, tri-track agile was one of many things that we tried to use to explain, like, we're your collaborator, but we're not in the agile world. Product management isn't necessarily in the agile world. Marketing. No one's telling marketing they need to be more agile. Or at least that rarely happens. So, yes, thank you. So, that's some thoughts there. I hope that helps. Follow-up question? Thoughts? Disagreements? Hi, Joel. Good to see you. We're just wrapping up the show. Next Tuesday, we'll have Dr. Nick here. If you think of questions during the week, you can always send them to dcx.to. There's a send in questions link. It's totally anonymous. I know nothing about you, and it just comes into my email and I copy and paste it. Thank you, Ana Lucia, for asking about the tri-track agile graphic. It is Googleable. I didn't invent it, but I talked about it in the Delta CX book, but not the Customers Know You Suck book, I don't think, because again, by now, our main problem hasn't been fighting engineering. I haven't heard "you're not agile" in a long time, even though I know people still hear it. My main problem hasn't been fighting engineering in a while. It's been fighting product managers, and now engineers are hiding in a corner with me because product managers are trying to get all the power. Not all of them, just many of them. So there you go. So again, as always, please make sure you follow the link dcx.to is a URL shortener. It'll dump you on my links page. Links to everything. I've got new courses. Did anyone see my cool new course about writing and speaking and presenting? A lot of people ask, oh my gosh, I want to speak more like you. I want to write and present like you. Okay, you're not going to end up like me. The goal of my course is not to make you me, it's to make you a better you. But check it out. My course is now live. I've got a version of it that's just self-paced videos, and I've got a version of it that comes with me reviewing your writing and presenting. So check that out at dcx.to. Follow the link to the courses. Make sure you're part of the community since I will be announcing my new book in the next week or two. This is the back of it, full of lorem ipsum. But I got a test copy today. You can start to see some of the coloring and the graphics, etc. I'm considering enrolling in that course. Yes, make sure you ping me for a discount code. Everybody who's part of my community has an opportunity to use a discount code. If you are doing the video-only course, the discount code is community. And if you are doing the help me. The Maven course that is the cohort, the code is... Oh my God, I forgot. But you can probably try Slack number 3. I think Slack number 3 will give you some, or Patreon 3. I think my Patreons get a little bit of a higher discount. So good reason to join Patreon, kids. Joel says, did you plug the books? In case you're new here, Debbie writes books. Yes, thank you. I've got my new children's book. If you know a kid learning or speaking English, please check out my new children's book about my dogs. No, I'm not kidding. I actually wrote a full-color photo children's book about my dogs. It's for little ones who you can read to, or they can work on reading it themselves if they are getting a little older. And we also put up downloadable activity pages. One of our test readers asked for a word search and a maze and coloring sheets. So we've got lots of lovely photos near where we live. So this is a super fun book for kids. So if you're interested, it's called, this is book 1 of what will be a series, Canetti Perfetti, which is Italian for perfect puppies. And these are my actual 5 dogs. No AI was used and no photos were staged. These are just my dogs being their natural selves. Customers Know You Suck is still out. And super secret book that I will only show you the back of, and I am going to make it a little bit bigger, so it's going to be a little bigger than this. Super secret book that I'm only showing you the back of. I hope will be ready for Kindle pre-order next week and should come out officially the last week of September. I haven't decided on the exact date yet, but it will be the last week of September, so the countdown is on. And the audiobook. I am editing the audiobook. I'm almost done. All right, that is our show for Tuesday. We usually stay for an hour. Thanks to everybody for their really interesting questions and personal situations. Good to see Brandon, especially. It's been a few weeks. I mean, always good to see some of the regulars like Joel and Ana Lucia. New person, Cassandra, welcome. Hope you'll come back. Yeah, that's it for today. Let me just check. I don't have a lot of streams scheduled. Oh yeah, tomorrow starts the space workshop. If anybody wants to join the live space workshop, starts tomorrow. So go to the courses page and sign up or ask me for a discount code. I've got a space cohort starting tomorrow, and I've got a space cohort starting on Saturday. These are completely live with me. These aren't video courses. Glad to be back. August is, yeah, exactly. August is a black hole in higher ed. Yeah, hopefully you got a little bit of a break and a vacation down there in sunny Dallas. All right, kids. I will, yeah, I'm doing space tomorrow and for the next few days. So I will catch everybody soon. Make sure you're part of the community. Good stuff is coming. Thanks, and see everybody soon. Bye.